Chapter 8 on government and markets is an interesting little chapter where we now take the market system and we blend it in um, with government action, attempting to correct what's called market failures. So be sure you're comfortable with the concept of market failures. Market failures stems from the concept of what happens when markets act inefficiently. Markets are intended to act efficiently or give a socially optimal outcome to society as long as certain conditions hold up. Well, in the real world, there's oftentimes market failures, which is the case when, say, monopoly power takes control in an industry, when there's significant spillover effects or externalities that occur from a market activity, when there's a lack of public goods occurring in society, when there's incomplete or inadequate information available to either consumers or producers, and also when there's some degree of income inequality. Um, we can talk about market failures. Antitrust policy, traced back to the Sherman Act of 1890 or the Clayton Act of 1914, are the two most clear legislative attempts to deal with monopoly power. In today's market, monopolies are illegal. Also, different forms of utilities, particularly water and electricity, are publicly regulated to deal with monopoly power. Externalities or spillover effects are also problems in society that result from market failures, and the book has a good discussion of how we deal with externalities in society. There's a rather good discussion on the cap and trade system to try to deal with pollution. Pollution is a great example of an externality. An externality basically is anything that anyone else does that has an impact on you. So we all deal with externalities every day, all day long. Some are positive, some are negative. We want to encourage the positive externalities. We want to discourage, by public policy, the negative externalities through regulations and laws. Also, it is a good discussion in the chapter about public goods. Public goods are inherently free in society, although we know government provides goods at a cost of taxes. Public goods, by definition, have to be goods that are non-excludable and non-rival. A public water fountain is a great example of a public good. But they do tend to be abused. There's the so-called free rider problem, which is the abuse of a public good. Also, inadequate information. There's a good discussion and a good couple paragraphs on that. Oftentimes, if parties don't have the available information to them, they're going to make inefficient choices in the market. And then there's a good discussion there at the end on income inequality. I posted the problems. I posted the Chapter 8 discussion board. Please let me know if you have any questions or concern about Chapter 8, Government and Markets.